like Sister Hord believes in them, and that I love them, and that I'm going to do everything I can to further their ministry, to further their anointing in God. We should encourage one another. I believe we should. Set aside time for prayer and devotion. It's so important. After choir time, obviously we always start out with prayer at every service. Every practice. But it's kind of like a little church within a church, really. The small group of the worship team or the music team. If you have 3 or 4 people, you're kind of a care group leader to them. Because you're with them so much, you know what's going on in their life, and maybe what dynamics are taking place to where we can encourage them in God, and so it's important that there's that time of just nurturing that team through prayer and devotion. What I did in your packets, there are 2 examples of devotions that are for specifically worship teams. One of them is Sing Unto the Lord. Another one is, I believe it's Oh Magnify With Me. Is that the title? I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
So please take those and share time with your worship team to lift them up. Rehearse with purpose. Whatever you do, work at it with all of your heart as working for the Lord and not for men. Colossians 4:23. I believe we should insist on excellence. If we have 2 musicians, if we don't have any, we can insist on excellence, whether we're just singing. I know there are small churches that just sing a cappella because the Lord has not led a musician there. Do it with all you got. If you don't have but 1 piano player or 1 maybe guitar player or whatever you have at your church, do it with excellence. God is going to anoint it. It's amazing what He does when His Spirit falls on people that are faithful, have humility in their heart, and are doing their anointing. So rehearse with purpose, do it with excellence. Something that I do want to comment is on have fun. Like in a practice, sometimes it can get kind of crazy, intense, and we can't get that part, we got to get that part, and yada. Have fun. It's okay to just let loose. Some of the funnest times that I have, I can say without a doubt, is working with the worship team in our church, working with the choir. These people are wonderful. I love them. I adore them. And so have time of laughter. You always have that one in the group that's a crazy goon, Laugh with them a minute. Let everybody laugh and have a good time. Pull it back in. It's okay. You can pull it back in. They'll listen to you. When you're the leader, they'll listen. But laugh a minute. Let them see you laugh and enjoy that time together. Let them see that you enjoy being with them. And that will mean so much to them. Something that I've learned, enough is enough. Whenever you've been practicing and it may not ever get to the point where you think, okay, we are doing this is sounding good. And maybe we do get to that point sometimes, I don't know. But a 2-hour rehearsal with a choir or whatever your rehearsal time, that you have plenty of time to achieve your goals, enough is enough. Okay? If you have 10 minutes left and you need to run maybe the song one more time, or if you don't have enough time to get everything done, okay, you just don't feel like it's coming together, and you can play or you can pray, you better pray. Okay? Enough is enough. If you have practice, you've given it your best, and you got 5 or 10 minutes left, and you need to run that thing one more time, we got to get that. Just pray. It's going to be okay. There just comes a point where you just stop and say, okay, the Lord's gonna anoint this. You can achieve your goals. Whatever time you set aside, you need to set aside plenty of time to achieve your goals. We do 2-hour choir practices once a month on a Saturday, and then 1-hour practices before church on the Sundays that we sing, which is only 2 Sundays. So we have 4 hours a month that we're working with a choir. Some people have more and some people have less. It just depends on what you're doing in your church. But when enough is enough, and you've come to the point, you've gotten as far as you're going to go, leave it at that, and just have faith that God's going to come through, and He's going to anoint it. Okay, a smile is worth 1,000 notes. I believe that. I've seen people, and I really try to practice it because I don't think I always think about it, but I've seen people lead worship. I've got the joy of the Lord in my soul. You do? Good, okay. I want to see it. I love it when I see people that lead worship and they have a smile on their face. Their eyes are open and they're communicating with the congregation. They're seeing what's going on in the congregation, seeing how people are reacting. I think it's important for you to keep your eyes open when those of you who are worship leaders in terms of maybe the soft leader at the pulpit, or if you lead from the piano, whatever the case may be. Keep your eyes open and communicate with the congregation. Put a smile on your face. I do have the joy of the Lord in my heart. Amen. And I want to communicate that. You know, it's really important. People will not do more than we do. If we're on the platform and we're worshiping and we feel the Spirit of the Lord, they will feel liberty to do that. But if we're hindered maybe by an insecure spirit or by fear, and it'll show and it'll come across and they'll feel that. Have you ever been watching someone and you knew they were incredibly nervous and then you were nervous? You were like, oh, I'm so nervous for them because they're nervous. And so that's what happens whenever we're leading worship or we're playing. You know, that's where all of these elements come together. So you're prepared, so you go up there, you got a smile on your face. Guys, I don't care if you hit the wrong note. We are not perfect, and that's just okay. Okay, keep a smile on your face. Oh, sometimes I show everything on my face, you know, and I have to watch myself because I don't want people to think about that so much that they forget that we're still worshiping. Oh, what does Sister Hord do? Did you see that look on her face? I want it to be that they don't have any idea that I just hit the wrong note. Maybe they know or not, I don't know, but I just hope they don't. Memorize the lyrics is another way that we can just some practical things. I think it's important that we memorize the lyrics because if they're on the screen, I find myself staring at the screen. Does anybody have a screen like that you can see? The way my screen is at the church, it's right in my eyesight, and so I have to make sure that I lift my eyes and not stare at the screen while I'm playing. And I don't even know why I do that. I think because I'll know the words, but it just kind of happens. And so I have to remind myself, you know these lyrics, Shauna. You don't need to look at the screen. So that keeps our eyes up. Also, when we know the lyrics, it's important because people will know if you feel uncomfortable with something. And when we know the lyrics, we're stronger. Okay, we're putting out that we have prepared for today. We know what we're doing. Pray and play. This is a very important. This is something I had to learn too. Remind your team that it is a level of maturity that you reach when you realize and release the response to God. We may think, oh, we got this song. When they sang that at General Conference, woo, everybody was shouting. Woo, we're going to go home and we're going to do that song. Do you know you may not have the same response that they had at whatever conference you attended? Okay? We release that to God. And I think as worship leaders, sometimes we take that on ourselves and think, I must not have done a very good job because people didn't, praise, or there was no running of the aisles, no one swung from the chandeliers, You think, I must not have done. But it is a level of maturity whenever you release that to God and say, God, no matter what the response, I'm going to do what I know you have told me to do. And then leave it at that. And He does the work. It's amazing what God does through the words of songs that we have no idea. I wish sometimes we could hear what the people, every once in a while you'll hear a word from somebody, oh, that song did this, or, and not always, but it's amazing what God does. Okay, here's just some resources that are just simple. They're good to keep you organized. If you need chord charts, musicnotes.com is good for people that read sheet music. Musicnotes.com. Praisecharts.com is a good resource for people that have maybe a guitar player or or other instruments in the worship service, because you can pick different chord charts from there. Those do cost, I will tell you. On praisecharts.com, though, there are some choir parts. You can buy some of the choir parts for songs. And so that's very helpful to me when I don't have to write them out. Ooh, that takes forever, right? So sometimes when you need just a song that already has the choir parts written down, you can go in there. There's also different support groups. It sounds terrible, doesn't it? I mean, a support group. For instance, Sister Lucas did a wonderful Facebook page. Is anybody connected to that? Song sets for worship leaders. And I just wanted to thank God, because just the other day, I was reminded of a song that we had done. Baptize me, Jesus, remember that? With the Holy Ghost. I hadn't thought of that song in forever. And I wrote it down. I thought, I'm going to leave that song. I want you to know that very next Sunday, Brother Trimble preached on the baptism of the Holy Ghost, and that song had come to my mind, and it was just what that altar service needed. God is so good. And so that kind of networking with other worship leaders is so helpful. EndTimeMusic.com has some wonderful, wonderful choir pieces on there that have the choir parts written on the music, and so it's a wonderful, wonderful website. Some of them are free, and then some of them you can download. But it's called EndTime, capital N, then the word time, music.com. And then another one that has more contemporary songs, which is like the chord charts. If you just need the chord charts, is iwillworship.com. And you can go in there and find just about any contemporary song you want. And sometimes you can find them in different keys. But if you get that basic chord chart, you can transpose it, to where it'll fit to you. You cannot do that on that website, but some of them allow you to do that. Are there any churches in here that do not have music that you are just at a point where, because some of our church planners are, in that place in terms of not having music. I remember, oh my goodness, back years ago, Brother Kuhn, when he was our pastor in Springfield, he took us through a season of no music. And he felt as if that maybe the congregation was relying too much on it and waiting for their favorite song to shout, or you understand what I'm saying? And so he just felt led by the Spirit. And we went for a season without music. And so there are ways to worship in terms of the worship service itself. Worship is much greater than music, and I know you all understand that. It's about everything I do, all I am, in terms of doing it unto the Lord. And so there would be times during that season that we would just stand and sing a song a cappella. There are some ideas for small groups. It's called smallgroups.com. Maybe if you have a fellowship group or whatever and you need worship ideas, that is a good place to go find ideas that does not include music, okay? Also, if you need to add music to maybe the musicians that you have, some people feel more confident when they're playing, with other music around them, and that's Worship Backing Band, and it's on musicacademy.com. And you can purchase those DVDs, and I think you can actually download, but check on there, musicacademy.com, and it's Worship Backing Band, and it's done in, oh honey, help me, what's that, where you can pull some of the music out, multi-track. And so if you wanted to pull, it's got vocal on it too, so you can teach your group the songs and pull the vocal out, or you can pull out the piano or the bass. Isn't that neat? And then it plays along with you. So I thought that was so cool. Also, Worship Band Play Along CD is on howleonard.com. And those are about $15 if you wanted to incorporate some of that into your, if you have a small church setting that needs that help. let's see. There are a lot more ways to worship God than just the music. Communion together, Bible quoting, poems. There's lots of things you can do that. And so, let's see. Those are just some ideas. Okay. Really quick, tell me what time it is one more time.
10:52.
It's 10:52? Oh, we got time. Does anybody have any questions? Can anybody did you think of anything? Please just holler it out.
It's not a question, but there is a website called CCLI, and it's a yearly that you pay. It's a little more expensive, but you can just choose the key you want.
Yes. Okay. So CCLI is associated with that licensing.
Yes.
That the song for the songwriters. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Maybe something they've come across that was helpful to them.
Going back to that Facebook group, concept, I think it's a secret group now. So somebody, if you want to be in that group, someone has to add you.
Someone has to add you.
You can search for it.
Okay. So.
She had to change it to secret.
Okay, so if you communicate with Sister Lucas, Christy Lucas, right?
Yeah, Christy Gunn Lucas.
Christy Gunn Lucas, yeah, her family is all very musical. And so maybe communicate with her about that Facebook page. Does anyone else have any thoughts or questions? Yes, son.
Yes, what do you do, say for instance, you're in a group.
I have a hearing problem. I'm going to come up here where I can hear you.
I was saying, what do you do, say for instance, you're in a group and some people like old songs,
Yeah.
some people like new songs,
Yeah.
right? But I'm thinking in a sense, over the years, maybe some people are just lazy. They don't spend the time to really practice and research. And when you spend a lot of time doing a lot of dedication towards music and you want to go forward, they're like, oh, I'm not feeling
Are they
this.
in your group or are they in your
Yes.
congregation?
Well, they're in the group.